Okay, we are live streaming. The window just so it don't work. He has to work with time 3 or something upstairs. But 5-5Z, Caleb, you're 5-5Z, Ted, you're 5-5Z, Olivia, you're 5-5Z, Robert, who's your body? Who? Malcolm Steve, that's something kind of dangerous. Yeah, don't know what you need. But you three, and those who are about 5Zs that are on live streaming, like Giorgio, Ethan Campbell, Brianna Belcher, Michael, talk to him, Kayla Clarks, Andy Cool, other folks that have heard of it. Anyway, I'll have a sign-up sheet on my door Tuesday. I get it today before I leave. And they're starting a new thing. We put a sign-up sheet on our door right by it. And you just fill in that time. And we'll come and just look at your schedule. It's not hard, is it? And then you look funny, just fill out your schedule. Put a time on my door. It will take 1 minute. I had a minute to be excited. How's that? You know what you need. All you can do. So, I'm just half an hour process. Take a half an hour both times. That's summer schedule and fall schedule. Okay, got that out of the way. Kevin, who's your advisor?
Dr. Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. You, when do you graduate? Next year? All right, we'll do your schedule the next couple of weeks for summer and fall. Okay? We're pushing that. And you know, if you pre-register, I'll give you a 5-point bonus on your exam. So hopefully you get out with that. Kayla, how'd you do last night? How many did you do? 6? No big problems to share with us or anything? All right. Oh, you didn't have any problems last night? Did you? You really had that one little couple. And it still bothers me that they won't pay tax on disability, except for 1099. I mean, he got disability for 2 years, didn't get a 1099. That was okay. But he has to sue for back pay or something, and gets like 30-something thousand, but the lawyer took a third. It's like they want to tax him on the whole man. So over 100, we deduct the lawyer's fees. So I probably told him something that's not legal, but on my part, I feel like I was in, I don't think it should be taxed on that. So leave it on. Our bar is catches to the pay. So, anyway, didn't have any trouble paying them. What did you do last time?
They're 5 or 6 of them.
What's it again? Do we need 5? All 5? Anyway, 4 minutes, it's a little hard. Just take the plan. It's a little longer. I get pretty in on last night. I don't know if he's a man, but that's one thing. Water guy was in there. Professor up here. He always has a briefcase full of its interest, dividends, pays out retirement, W-2s, and pays for it. He got 3 in a long time. So, I think it's the end of the more experience she did tax year. So, but anyway, that's good. Last night I noticed one other thing. When they come up with options, they get a couple had a wheelchair. So coach wheelchair, they had cane, they were on the cane. And Georgia, I would have to quit giving them pretty females to do their cane. I mean, I'm a pretty female, we go over here doing her taxes. So, but she's a student up here, and you've never seen her before? So that's the way this case is, you never know who might be a student and who might not. But, anyway, we've done a lot of students this year. Done a lot of old people. And we've done some that probably should have turned down, like a professional up here. Get a hold of his taxes done somewhere else. But we don't turn it down. But anyhow, 2 more nights, folks. And 2 more nights. The whole class over with, 10 weeks. Didn't have to buy a book, didn't have to study, well, we passed the test. No homework, so on, so not bad, is it? And good experience. Good experience. And I noticed one that Georgia did last night, and then Tanta, you did the doctor. Georgia did the mom.
I did her.
Yeah. She's been here every year, always fuss at her. She always has so many W-2s, 3 or 4. I don't know how many she has now, but since it's slowed down. Georgia had her mom, and her mom was only filing. Don't file federal tax form for these people. She didn't have to file. She didn't even have to file in West Virginia. The only reason she was filing was to get her senior citizen tax credit back to 200, probably close to 270 something. We got that back for it. Okay. But don't let the program decline. Make sure they get that tax credit. That's what they do up here. We're going to refund. We're being a senior citizen, West Virginia. Okay. So now, so much for tax class. And I'm only talking about it because in tax class, we got other things to do today instead of talking about last night. And Giorgio, I'm gonna try to have a sheet on my door for you to sign up one slot. I'll put some times on there for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the next week. So sign up for a time when you want me to look at your schedule for summer and fall.
Register. Register.
Yeah. Starts next week. So, but don't go to anybody else with your registration if I'm your advisor. And Robert, if you want Mr. Imel, me want to look at yours and make sure, I'm sure yours and Tanda's and Olivia's will all look pretty much identical. So, but if you want to do that before Dr. Malamazur signs it or whoever, that's okay. All right, so much for that. Pre-registration, taxes last night. Ms. Grogan had brought up a big box of donuts, Krispy Kreme, chocolate covered with white cream inside. Try one, Giorgio? Well, good. I tried one. Of course, you need 2 or 3 napkins to take, especially me to keep the cream and the chocolate off my beard. But anyway, that was sweet of her. If you see her, pass her in the hall, thank her for a donut, something of that nature, okay? The little lady that promised us pizza, she has never came through. She's only got 2 nights to go. So anyway, maybe we will get pizza, maybe we won't. And I think Giorgio has been the only one that's been offered a tip. Is that 1 time or 2 times, Giorgio? Once. All right. I don't encourage tips. They're not supposed to give tips. We're not supposed to take tips. But in most cases, I permit it, and it's okay. Put money in your pocket, go to McDonald's or something. What's you give me, Giorgio? 10 or 20? 15. 15 and 20. Okay. But we're not here to take pay for doing our taxes. Now, we have to have everything cleared up by April 15. 17, we cannot have any rejects whatsoever. We've got to clear them up. You have to call these people Even if you have to go to their house, stay all night with, them. Get the information and clear up their rejects. Okay, now, Costa County. There's 6 of you here today. And 2 took the test late, that's 8. Who took the test, did you? All right, everybody did okay on the test. 6 here today, and let's see, did you take the test, Doug?
Yeah.
It's Caitlin Campbell. And of course, there's a local Lorenzo, let's see, that's 6, Caitlin and Lorenzo, that's 8. And 1 dropped, but she hadn't had manager on, she was getting behind. These 9, can y'all tell me who that 9th person is? No. In this cost part, Caitlin Campbell and Lorenzo. Makes that?
Austin. Austin is here.
No, I don't think Austin's in. He's in taxes. But I'll have to look at the roster and see if I'm missing a person, okay? Okay, so what was your homework today? In chapter, and we're wrapping up that chapter, and that is chapter 7, I guess. And what problem, Giorgio? Did I say you had to have the day, turn it in, and all that stuff?
On Tuesday, I wasn't here, so.
Oh boy, supposed to find out. Well, Olivia, what problem was that? What? 6, 9?
59.
Oh, 59. Okay, now, this chapter, please practice some of those new variances that you didn't have in Mandrill. You had the mix and yield variance and so forth. You had more overhead type variances when it comes to fixed and variable. And so I want you to practice these. Now, the problem I gave you for today was a wrap-up problem on everything. And that was problem 59. All right. Now, Giorgio, do you have number 59? I'm taking it up for a little bit of credit. So I want you to hand me 58 on Tuesday, okay? If anybody else don't have 59, give me 58 on Tuesday. Now, let me see if I have solutions to this thing, and we'll look at it. I don't mean this. Closer to someone. Okay, so let's look at 59 with a whole bunch of variances. And of course, the first one, a comprehensive problem, just like 58, Giorgio, these are similar. We have direct materials and labor and variable overhead and fixed overhead based on 600,000 square feet. We've got anywhere from 60 cents to $2. And management has determined that 400 square feet can be painted by the average worker each hour. During May, the company painted 600,000 square feet of space and incurred the following cost. Now they say 400 square feet. Now, how do you calculate square feet, Kayla? What?
With,
With 400 square feet. Now, a 10 by 10, is 100 square feet. So a 20 by 20 would be 400 square feet. Now, in other words, we're saying a 20 by 20.
that's in case of a perfect.
What?
That's in a case of a perfect, right?
Right.
Why there's not?
Okay, yeah, it's not necessarily perfect, right? Let's say this room is 8 feet tall, and this wall here is about 30 feet long. 8 by 30 be 240, be 240, wouldn't it? Be 240. So in an hour, we should have this wall painted, and at least the back wall painted. Okay? Now, it don't seem like much for a professional painter, does it? Okay, now, this wall and the back wall. All right, approximately, we're just estimating. Okay, so now down to the information. Compute the direct material variance. Kevin, what was your answer? Did you get this problem? Okay, Kayla, what was your direct materials variance? Huh? Let me find it real quick. Gosh, there were so many problems in this chapter. You need extra practice. You have no excuse. Okay, need to go down it without rolling, struggling. Now I went past it. Phew. Or did I? I don't know. Kayla, what'd you say your answer was? All right, 700. Now, Kevin, you and Coachella did a range similar. Okay, you take actual, with actual times actual, worldwide plus units in the price, and standard times actual, and standard times standard. All right, so you got 8,300, 8,100, 9,000. You have 200 unfavorable. You have 900 favorable. That gives you a difference of 700 favorable. 700 is the same thing as the difference between actual and standard. 83 from 9 is still 7. Okay. Now that was an easy variance. Okay, what is the next one, Olivia?
I got 242.
All right. For the direct labor variance, you got 242. Final answer. All right. Wait a minute. Yeah, did you get to 50 cents? Okay. $242.50. But here we had 442.50 unfavorable and 200 favorable, which gives us a difference here. Or the difference between actual and of course standard. That was the labor rate variance, labor efficiency variance. we are paying evidently more than the $8 an hour. Okay, standard would have been 11.8, but we paid 12,242. And then over here, standard hours would have been, cost would have been $8. 6,000 divided by 4 would be 1,500, but we only use 1,475. So we, 25 hours less is $200. 25 times 8 is $200. So you work these backwards and forwards, you're still going to get the same thing. All right, those you had in managerial and here. Okay, and then Robert, use a 4 variance approach to compute overhead variances. All right. What is your first variance under 4 variance approach? How much? All right, now these are probably all when I show them to you. Did you get to 120? All right, so your actual variable overhead, all right, your standard times actual, standard times standard. You do it the same way, even though it's variable overhead. And you add 60 favorable and 60 favorable, and you end up with 120 favorable. All right, what is your next variance then, Robert?
The actual fixed overhead, I got 20.
All right, now we're looking at actual FOH, fixed overhead. There's your actual, and here's your budgeted, and here's your standard times standard. So we're putting budgeted in here, and for your spending variance was 220, and your volume variance was 0, and your final variance was 220. Is that what you had, Robert? 220 unfavorable? All right, now how many variances have we done here? C. We've done variable overhead spending, variable overhead efficiency. We've done fixed overhead spending. We've done fixed overhead volume. Now, that is 4 variances, isn't it? Spending, efficiency, spending, volume. Okay. All right. Tanda, how about our next one there, I guess? Use a 3 variance system. What was your first variance? All right. Oh, wait a minute now. D is a 3 variance approach. All right, I guess, Tanda, on D, did you get 160 for the spending variance?
Yeah.
Did you get 60 for the efficiency variance?
Yeah.
And 0 for volume? Okay. So that's the 3 budget approach: spending, efficiency, and volume. All right. And here you're taking actual, budget times your input. Here is your budget times your output, and your applied. We're familiar with actual and applied. Now we've got budget input, budget output. All right. And E is a 2 variance approach to compute overhead. And that's budget and volume. Budget is 100. Your actual, all right, here you got your actual variable overhead, your actual fixed, total overhead 11.2. You got your budgeted 3,600, variable and fixed 11.1. You got your applied 3,675, 11.1. Take the difference, and you got volume, and you got budgeted. Okay, so this is a little bit new to this chapter. That's why I want you all to practice this. Practice the 4, the 3, the 2.
reconcile your answers for C and reconcile your answers for C through E. That'd be C, D, and E. And then discuss other cost drivers. All right. We're trying to reconcile the 2, the 3, and the 4 budget approach. All right, your variable and your fixed, your applied, variable, fixed. You got the $100 under applied. And if we take the spending variance of 160, the efficiency variance of 60, the budget variance of 100, volume variance of 0, we got total variance of 100. All right, you have reconciled. That's 100 on favorable, that's 100 under applied, and that's how you find it another way. Take all these other variances and add. And cost drivers, just to look at those a little bit. Number of jobs, number of workers, distance from job site to business office, number of rooms painted, number of colors painted, number of brush cleanings, number of hours worked, number of hours of operation for paint sprayers. Now, if they're doing this with a paint sprayer, they did a lot more than that in an hour. Paint sprayer. But they may have to tape it off, tape it around it, and sprayer goes fast. But you kill a lot of time taping with the paint sprayer. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much what's in chapter 7. It was a good review. Now we're approaching chapter 8. Now, I'm going to try to show you a couple of PowerPoints on chapter 8. All right, you got a plan. A budget is a plan. Strategic planning, typical planning, and budget. All right, strategic planning is 5 to 10 years. Now, I'm sure we've got a dorm out here in the college's strategic plan. It may happen in 10 years or not. So I'm going to tell you one thing, that dorm won't be built the time you graduate. Will it, Giorgio? All right. I want to mention something about Giorgio and the tennis team. I saw on an email from the president this morning, and she was talking about some things happening around campus and some sports and people visiting and people speaking. And she congratulated the tennis team for being ranked 17th in the nation. Not bad, is it, Giorgio? Now, who's on that tennis team? You and Lorenzo?
Nacho.
And Nacho.
3 freshmen.
Now, 3 freshmen. Are they international?
Yeah, 2 German and 1 French.
1 French and 2 German?
Yeah.
All right. Did they come in the spring semester, or were they here all year?
They came in spring.
All right. So you hear that, don't you? Our tennis team is all international. All right. Kevin, how come we don't have any old Burkle boys playing tennis?
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Okay. But anyway, that's good. Okay. But Lorenzo will graduate this year. Nacho and Giorgio will graduate next year.
Nacho's graduating spring.
Really? So the team will lose Nacho and Lorenzo. And you'll be the only experienced one left that may bring in some next fall. But anyway, it's still good. Now that's Division II schools. Now, they're not competing against UCLA or the University of Michigan or UVA or Virginia Tech. they're competing against Division II schools, right? Which is Concord and other small four-year colleges, university, UVA Wise, some of those. Okay, George Mason, I guess. What are some of the schools you compete against?
Like mostly they're teams from Florida and California, the top teams, the top 10. Right now we're actually 14th. New rankings.
So you went out new rank at 14th. That's even better. Good.
So, yeah. I mean, sometimes we play Division One teams, or like Virginia. We don't play Virginia Tech, but alike similar teams, Division One teams, just as a regular exhibition match.
Have you done okay against them?
Yeah. Some, I mean, we played two Division One teams, and we beat both of them. But yeah, sometimes like an exhibition match we play.
Because their Division I team does not make the individual player any better. That does nothing special to a player. Hey, I'm Division I, or I'm Division II, or I'm Division III. You can be a good tennis player no matter what division, right? And that's what I say about the CPA too, folks. And the CPA, it don't matter if you get your degree from Harvard or Yale or Bluefield State College, as long as you pass the CPA degree. Okay? Now, last week I gave Tanda a book on the CMA. CMA is Certified Manager Accountant. That's getting real popular in the corporate world. CPA is still popular in the private world and auditing, big auditing firms and so on. But the CMA, if I remember right, with about 10 years experience, the average salary is $150,000. That's not bad. That's not bad. You take a Bluefield State College professor, 10 years experience, they're looking to be making $65,000 or $60,000. What heck? So, but there is good money in the county work, okay? And some of you find it easy, okay? Find the county easy. But my principal accounting students, it's not easy for them to come to class. It's not easy for them to try their homework. It's not easy for them to even have notes for a test. I had a guy this morning, the county principal class. He came in a half an hour late, didn't have his book. He sat in the back seat and texted the whole period. And why he came to class? I couldn't tell him that, but I did. I don't like to have phones out, but they weren't paying attention anyway. So. Oh, well, now, long term is 5 to 10 years. This is top level management. Foundation for short term planning, identify and gather information on key variables. A business definitely needs to plan. Effective strategic planning requires that managers build plans and budget that integrate external and internal consideration and influence with resources, competence insight, product development, product cycles, competitive actions. This is external. What is our competitors doing? What is the local market condition? Political regulatory climates, current and emerging technology, outsourcing, consumer trends, demographics, foreign currency, exchange rate, business risk. Now you've had all of those in some kind of class, I'm sure. You know what outsourcing is? Kevin, what is outsourcing? What?
Sending your employees
The what?
Sending your employees overseas.
What about your employees?
Sending your employee overseas to a different country.
Making your products in different countries. Buying your parts from a different country, is that considered outsourcing? We lose a company, it goes to another country. Trump don't like that. All right, now what is happening to Facebook? I've heard two things about it, negative. Stock has went down at Facebook. What's happening to Facebook? But it sounds like they let this company was friendly to Trump get into their debates, use their names and everything, and probably do a little bit of campaign for Trump, be show up with your Facebook or something or another. I'm sure y'all saw a lot of Trump ads. Okay. But somebody put on Facebook the other day, they were pretty supporting Trump. They found out he had an affair with him. Anyway, he's had so many affairs that he's cut out. And somebody else put underneath that on Facebook, I will quit supporting Trump if I found out he had an affair with Bill Clinton. Okay. All right, so outsourcing, I think Trump was wanting to cut that down a little bit. Political regulatory climate. Now, see, Chinese has been producing a lot of stuff, and that's what a lot of this trade war talk is about. That's why Trump's putting tariffs on Chinese goods coming into our country. But the Chinese buys a lot of our agricultural products. Chinese has about 1 billion people. No matter what tariff we put on the Chinese, they got to get ag products from all over the world. They got a lot of people to feed. They'll still buy ag products from us. Okay. When you feed 1 billion people, the population is 3 times that of the United States. Okay. But anyway, so local and global markets. What your competitors doing? And we know the economy has a lot to do with everything. What happened to Kmart around here? It closed. Now that may have something to do with competition from Walmart. But you know, a lot of the competition right now is coming from Amazon. Amazon helped close down Kmart. All right. Amazon has helped close down Sears. They probably hurt Walmart. Do you know now you can order food from Amazon? But what can you not get from Amazon? I don't know. But anyway, Facebook, it'll survive. Now, what is your alternative to Facebook? Twitter or Snapchat? Who uses Twitter? Still use Facebook? Use Snapchat? Now, there's another one, but it's one of those that disappears after a while. What's it called? Instagram. Does it disappear? Anyway, don't ever put anything on Facebook that will come back and haunt you. All right, budgets. Communicate objectives, provide financial predictions, provide non-financial performance, identify potential difficulties, determine resource allocation, permits control through budget. Now, the college has a budget, July 1 through June 30. Federal government has a budget that ends, the state has a budget, state of West Virginia. Every business has a budget. Now, Tanda is probably the only one here I could visualize doing a budget. You try doing a budget monthly, Tanda? And when I say that, she's working hard, she has a kid, and so forth. So it's good that you're doing a budget. Do you try to live within your budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else do a budget? So there's two kinds of people that don't need to do a budget. One kind has no money at all. The other kind they're filthy rich. They don't have to worry about a budget. The rest of us in between that, well, we're all in between, but Kayla, she's totally broke. We need to do a budget. Okay, short term, top, middle, and operational management, usable guidelines, allocate resources, and so on. Now, planning relationships. Top management is involved, and top, middle, and operation management gets involved. The technical planning, budget, top and middle management, but it affects everybody. Now, the college's budget affects our computer services. Do we hire another person? Do we get rid of one? The college's budget has affected our school of business for years since I've been here. They didn't have enough money to hire a finance professor. It took 3 or 4 years for me to try to get an accounting professor to help out. We've lost a lot of professors up here and they have not been replaced. We never did get a finance professor. We offered a degree in finance, and there was something also in the computer area we never get a professor. And it's been hard to get a dean. We've got a temporary dean right now. I don't know what to do next year. Now, some examples: top management, mission goals, and top management, mid management, technical planning, again, organizational plans. And then you get down mid management, operation management under budgeting. Everybody's infected by college budget. Louisville State's budget affects the vice president. It affects the dean in each school. It affects the professors in each school. Have not had a raise in 8 years, Louisville State. There's a little step raise of 150, 200 a year, but no raise. So the budget affects maintenance. So for a while, we didn't have a custodian in this building at night. And he showed up, trash cans were full, bathrooms were dirty. So our budget affects you students. Do you have a clean bathroom to go to? Do you have a professor teach the class? So we're all affected with the college's budget. Okay. At work, you may be affected with the budget. Okay. The master budget is a comprehensive budget with all the other little budgets. It can be static based on a single level of output demand. It can be a budget to produce 100,000 units. We can interact with other departments. So the master budget, we looked at this the other day. This is what we got to do. This is the chapter. Sales budget, production, purchase, direct labor, overhead, selling, administrative, and all right, look at this word right here under financial. Look at that first word under financial. Now, what does that mean? Perform.
Like, funding for hypothetical projects. Future.
What's your version of a perform? Like what is it they perform on the income statement? What do I mean?
Like expected net income.
Projected. And the reason that came up here
Ms. Grover was talking about, audit and requires in order to perform budget quality. Now, perform budget is planned, formal income statement is projected, formal balance sheet is projected. Well, county managers should not get in category if they don't know what the formal statement is, okay? All right, if you miss that part on conference, you all not get your degree until you learn it. Okay, and then there's a cash budget, that's the biggie, that's the one that I like for you to do. Capital expenditure budget, there's the balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, retained earnings, which we don't do in this chapter. First of all, we gotta worry about a sales budget, and you can take your salespeople out in the field, get an estimate of what's gonna be sold next year. Ask your sales personnel, look at past trends, market research, use statistical models, whatever you have to do. Units to be sold, units to be sold times selling price is equal to dollar of sales, okay? Giorgio, they just have that written down. So if they'd have done it this way, all right, units to be sold, 500, selling price per unit, $50. So your dollar sales is 2,500. So that's easy enough. Now you got your sales budget, now we need a production budget. You gotta know how much you're gonna sell before you produce it. And we gotta have these sales estimates. How much beginning inventory do we have? How much ending inventory do we want to keep on hand? Determine the types and quantities. And ending inventory policy, percent of next month's projected sales. You want 20% of next month's sales, 10%. Maybe a constant amount, build up of inventory for high demand periods. You want to build up inventory. All right, right now, the end of March is a high demand period for what kind of products? Right now, end of March is high demand for what kind of products? What? Easter products, yeah, for this weekend coming. But the whole spring season is a high demand for yard tools, and lawnmowers, and gardening tools, and leaf blowers. Well, not leaf blowers, but trimmers. Anything outdoors. It's going to be a high demand season too for barbecue grills and camping stuff. So spring's a good season, high demand for a lot of things. You might want to keep near zero. That's JIT, just in time. Cost of holding inventory includes storage. If you hold inventory, you got to have somewhere to store it. You got to pay insurance on it. It could become obsolete, could shrink, and it could get damaged. And when it comes to computers, right there's a bad one. It can become obsolete overnight. I had my college to update my laptop. They updated my desktop, and I'm putting Windows 10 on it. My computer already has Windows 10 on it. It says a new version of Windows 10. So I had my laptop with me, which is also the college. I keep it at home. And I had him to update it. And the situation there, it had Windows 8 on it. My laptop that I got from up here 2 years ago was already obsolete as far as some of the new software. Operating budget is your sales budget, your production budget. Now we got to buy materials. We got to pay labor. We got to know how many people, types of workers, hours needed, and cost. Union contracts, minimum wage, fringe benefits, pay and taxes. We know the minimum wage in West Virginia is a lot higher than Virginia. And we know unions
they're about gone. But I think there's still the United Coal Miners Union, UMWA or something. There's the Automobile Workers Union, but a lot of unions have lost their power. So you'll be paid fringe benefits. So you got your sales budget, your production budget, your purchase budget, and your labor budget. Now the little yellow one there is overhead budget. Identify activity base, estimate costs, separate costs, fixed variable. We've done that. Show costs for operating budgets. So here is your predicted activity base. Variable overhead rate per unit gives you total variable overhead, plus your fixed overhead gives you total overhead and total overhead without depreciation. Now, we've done this type of stuff in the past chapter. So now we've got an overhead budget. So let's add a selling and administrative budget. Predicted sales dollars times your variable selling administrative, then plus your fixed selling administrative gives you your total. And now the cash budget is the last budget. Take your beginning cash plus cash receipts minus disbursements minus desired ending balance gives you cash needed at the end of some period. You may have to go borrow money. All right. Now, here is your lag time. All right. When you sell something, 20% for cash, 80% is on credit. How do we collect that 80%? We collect 40% of it. Well, 40% of the people takes a 2% discount, all in the month of sale. 60% does not take the discount. Well, I'm glad 60 and 40 is 100. Now, 20% you collect in the month of sale, 50% in the next month, and 29% in the second month, and 1% on collectible. So, to put some months on those, this is March. All right. We're going to sell $1,000 worth. This is April. And this is May. All right. Now, take that $1,000. Jojo, how much do I collect in March?
200.
200. Kevin, how much do I collect in April? 500. And Robert, how much do I collect in May? 290. And then we have to write off 1%. What's 1% of 1,000? Is that $10? We're going to write $10 of that off as uncollectible. All right, so cash collections is your cash and accounts receivable. Your purchases is for cash or accounts payable. Cash collections, I guess, from November, receipts, disbursement, January, February, March. You got to know the 2 months backwards if you got these 2 months lag time. Capital budget. Now look at this one, a capital budget. Long-term fixed asset needs for plant and equipment and payment periods. The financial budget. All right, now we got the cash budget, the capital budget, we got the operating budget. Now we can do income statements, balance sheets, and cost of goods sold. Okay, now that's just a quick look at what's coming up in this chapter. So do read this chapter for Tuesday. I'm gonna give you a few exercises to start practicing. It's a short chapter, but we need to get with it, I suppose. And we'll give you number 19. Doesn't matter whether it's exercise or problem. Now, I'm thinking, look at these examples and work at them. And I'm gonna give you 20, which is a production budget. Just gonna practice some of these. All right, and 22 is a production materials and labor budget. Better do a purchase number 26. These are short, folks, so. And 27, a cash collection. Okay, read the chapter and do these little exercises, and you'll be okay for Tuesday. And we'll see you then. And I will quit broadcasting. Now, 5 of you are left in here for taxes. You want to start your tax test now. Kayla, you want to start your tax test now? Kevin?
I'll come back.
You'll come back? All right, well, all of you were in taxes, all 6 of you.
Today we have a match at 2,
Yeah,
and we have to leave at 12:45 to warm up. Yes, shit course, we haven't played shit course.
I believe you can finish that. Go grab it right now. You want to try to finish it? All right, how long can you stay? To 12:30?
Yeah.
All right, do all you can, and I'll let you work on the rest of them later. Is that okay?
I don't know. Wants to grab lunch. I don't know.
All right, maybe you want to eat lunch separate. Okay, you want to just wait, take the test on Tuesday.
Maybe, I don't know. I can take it tomorrow if you do.
I won't be here tomorrow.
Oh, like I will do. Or maybe I can take it.
Well, I can leave it with the secretary. If you want to take it tomorrow? Okay.
All right.
Tracy, you want to start your test now? Good. Okay. I'll put the picture in. Okay. Well, I hadn't stopped broadcasting yet, but I better